Whenever I came to a cliff, an edge of any kind, I always wanted to go that one step further. If I throw myself off this thing. My teacher, she asked me if I could come back to school and talk about my dream. We were all going to write a little essay about our dreams. I came back and I told her how I wanted to learn how to fly. I told her about the birds and how they were playing with the clouds, how they looked so free. I wanted the same kind of freedom. I wanted to fly. The first second, everything is standing still. You can hear and you can feel and you can see everything. You feel so on top of the game. You got this. Anything can happen right then. Anything, and you would handle it. That's how powerful you feel. Closest thing that I can compare it with is if you've ever been in love before. You know, that feeling is so powerful, being in love with somebody else. You know that it's scary, but it's good at the same time. And you know that it can hurt you because you can't control it, not 100%. But you still want more and more of it. It doesn't really matter what happens, you know, in life. It's how I choose to deal with it that matters. If something bad happens, it might not necessarily be all that bad in the long run. Maybe it's just a little different. We got into the airplane, and I sat there, and I looked out of the window as we rose up towards the sky. I looked out this little window, and I was thinking that, wow, I must be the luckiest girl ever. And we jumped out, and we laid there side by side. We made S-turns over and under each other. I was like, yes, this is great, this is perfect. As I opened the parachute, I could hear the clapping and the shouting from the thousands of spectators underneath me. And they were ecstatic, and I was like, yes! Then I realized that something had gone wrong. 10 seconds later, my life changed forever. Probably those last seconds when I realized that I had this problem, I was actually thinking, fuck, I'm not getting out of this alive. There's no way that I'm getting out of this alive. I didn't want to die. The last thing that I thought was like, fix the problem, fix the problem. I saw this boulder was coming in, I was like, I'm gonna hit the rock. And then it all turned black. I woke up 2 days later at the hospital, and the doctor said, you're a very fortunate girl, because you're still alive, and you've kept your 2 legs, but you're never gonna be able to walk again. What am I going to do if I'm never going to be able to walk again? And at that moment, I was all by myself, alone in the hospital. I started crying. My dad got angry with the doctor who told me so, because first of all, he said that this is something that we don't know anything about. And second, this isn't going to help us anything. We can't focus on the future. We need to focus on today and what's ahead of us right now. From that day on, I never once thought back on the fact that I was never going to be able to walk again. At one point, I had done about 16 surgeries. They had to remove 12 centimeters, which is about this much, of my femur because it had rotten from the bacteria. They just put some cement to cover the actual gap. They didn't know what to do anymore. So the doctors went to my dad and they said, we're sorry, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get rid of the infection. And if that infection spreads, your daughter's not going to just lose her leg, she's going to lose her life. So we have to amputate her right leg. And my dad said that you cannot take my daughter's leg, because if you take her leg, you take her life as well. They agreed on one last surgery before they wanted to amputate my leg. When I woke up, I was met by a smiling doctor. They had found a piece of grass and gravel inside my leg, and that was the reason for the ongoing infection, and I was the winner of the first round. In order to put my leg back together, they had to take some bone graft from both of my hips and my lower back and fill it into that 12-centimeter gap in my femur. They had never filled such a gap before and taken that much bone from one human being. The doctors definitely forgot to tell me how painful it actually is to harvest 12 centimeters of bone from your own body. I'm still that girl, that little girl, dreaming, you know. I don't know what's more realistic, learning how to fly or learning how to walk. I received a phone call. It was this person asking me if I wanted to come and make a speech. Sure, of course, I can do that. What did I just say? Nah! I had never made a public speech in my entire life. As I finished, it was dead quiet. Then they started clapping, and I had 1,500 people giving me standing ovations. And at that point, I didn't realize this was a story that other people could get inspired by. I've been telling my body for many years that it's going to come back to skiing, it's going to come back to the mountains. Let's go skiing. So I went skiing. As I got onto those skis and I started turning just little by little, started feeling the snow underneath my skis, I was like, hey, I can do this. I didn't know whether I was going to cry or I was going to laugh. It was like 10 kilos went off my shoulders. I don't think I had such a big smile on my face for as long as I could remember. I can ski, and I can ski powder, and I can get back that good feeling that I've been wanting for so long. For me, that's what it's all about. And I guess that's where I'm at right now, which is pretty sweet.